welcome back to Fire Princess Reviews. I'm Fire Princess Lily here to tell you about comics, cartoons, and other awesome nerd stuff. So today is another episode review. Today we're reviewing That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 14, The Great Jura Alliance. Now, if you haven't watched one of these before, this is a total spoiler video where we go over basically the entire episode. I break it down, and my thoughts and feelings about things and how they happen. So, yeah. So, if you haven't watched the episode, go do that, come back, and let's discuss it then. But you definitely want to check it out before you watch this. Now, if you're crazy and you don't care and you just want to watch me ramble on for about 10 or 15 minutes about this episode, then keep watching. Or if you've seen it and you know the program already, keep watching, because here we go. The Great Jura Alliance is the episode that comes right after the whole battle with the orc disaster, and there's a lot of stuff that happens off screen in the in-between, because we open up on a council of Rimmeroos there with his Kijin. The lizard men are on one side, the orcs are on the other side, and goblins are over here in the back somewhere. And it's a council to decide what happens after the war. Like, what a war. Rimmeroo came and solved it in all of, 5 minutes. So, done. But they've named Rimmeroo, the head of the council, and that's stuff that happens off screen. They talk about forming the council in order to discuss what should happen afterwards. And they go, alright, well, you should lead it. And of course, the Dryad trainee is there as well. So, fun times. There's a lot in the manga where he's thinking to himself that trainee is super fucking sly and, planned all of this all along. Not necessarily the orc disaster, just for them to get to the situation where he himself, Rimmeroo, is in control of the situation. So, nobody really knows how to start it. Even Rimmeroo is I've never been in charge of a meeting before like this, so I don't know what to do. So I'm going to speak from the heart. I'm not pressing any charges against the orcs. And everybody kind of look at him like, what? Of course. He's like, I ate all their sins. That was my promise to Geld. So, yeah. I mean, I understand that this might upset some of you, but that's what's happening. What's happening. And the Lizardmen definitely aren't 100% on board with it, But after the Benimaru steps up and he says, look, there's a law of the land among monsters. Survival of the fittest. Obviously, Rimmeroo's the fittest, so it's his rule. He's very, very blunt. And the lizard chieftain agrees, yeah, you got a point, whatever. So what are we going to do with the orcs? And so Rimmeroo comes up with this plan, sort of, either, not necessarily on the spot. Once again, things happen off screen. But he's like, look, why don't we form an alliance? It's very beneficial for everybody. The lizardmen will provide clean water and fish. The goblins will provide, homes for people. And the orcs will provide labor. And we'll all just, boom, boom, meet together in the middle and, have a cool alliance. That would be awesome, right? He's like, and this is what I like about Rimmeroo as a protagonist, as an isekai protagonist, because most isekai protagonists are I want to be the strongest, I want to be the best, I want to be the most powerful, I want to stand above all of this, but that's not what Rimmeroo's goal is. His goal is to make a nation where monsters can just live together and be like a whole people unto themselves. And that's his plan, and everybody kind of goes along with it. They're like, yeah, that's cool. We're definitely down. So who's going to lead this? And right away, Trainee's on the dot. He's like, well, it's obviously going to be Rimmeroo. And Shion's on it too. She's like, yeah, of course. That's a great idea. And everybody just goes, yeah, of course, I agree. So, and he's like, I didn't want to be the chancellor of this alliance, but I guess I can't complain. So here we are, yeah. And the meeting ends. So the Kijin, or the Oni, whatever you want to call are walking away, and they're approached by one of the orcs. The orc that was actually talking during the meeting, and he's like, look, I know that, hatred goes a long way, and, you can't just erase everything overnight, and, I understand that, so I'm offering you my life. Just take my head. Yeah, I'll die, it's gonna suck, but take my head, and please, forgive my countrymen. Let me, shoulder all the blame. And Benimaru was like, yeah, I could do that, but see, we just got titles from Rimuru because now we're part of this big alliance, and I'm the samurai general, and that means I'm in charge of military operations, and it would be a bad idea to kill such a fine warrior. So, look, if you mean no harm against Rimuru, and he's like, I don't, I would never. And it's like, cool, then we're on the same page and on the same side, and everything is fine between us. Rimuru's the slime. And they just kind of walk away. Of course, Rimuru's watching, he's like, yeah, he's going to lead the orcs for me. He's a good guy. And he gives him the name Geld. Now, what you don't know from just watching the anime is that in the manga, there's actually a discussion between Rimuru and the new Geld that he was actually the previous orc king's son, the one who became the orc disaster. And so he evolves into the orc king. Once again, there's a lot of speculation about how names work in this world. There has to be a sort of kind of intent behind it, and all of Rimuru's intentions are super good, so they get the better, nicer evolutions. Kind of like in Digimon. This is a weird comparison, but in Digimon, if your heart is full of anger and darkness, and you force your Digimon to digivolve, without, meeting certain requirements, it goes down the darker path, sort of like, how in Digimon, Greymon didn't become Metal Greymon, he became Skull Greymon in the second season during that fight with Etmon. Yeah, I know, so much information all in my head. So then we skip forward a few months, and things are going great. The orcs are building a road between Tempest, well, it's not called Tempest yet, but between the goblin villages and also to the lizard men. They're building houses. They've learned skills from Kajin, the dwarf master. We never really see Kajin's buddies very much. Kajin's the main dwarf, and we get that. But come on, give the silent dude a little more screen time. Fucking dude. But as Rimuru is kind of watching over all of this, he's like, my plans are coming to fruition. We're going to have a cool nation, and it's awesome. I mean, they made me the leader. I didn't want that, but yeah, it's going to be cool. And Sohei appears we got a problem. And so in the distance, you see all these Pegasus Knights right in. That's the Dwarf Kingdom. We get to see a little bit of what happens behind the scenes to make the decision to come to Tempest, is to, confront Rimuru, make sure that he's not evil by any means, and if he is evil, he's a slime. Smack him down, scatter these monsters so they don't rise up and, attack the more civilized races. It's there's prejudices in every show, I suppose. So, sorry. So, they show up, and Rimuru's like, yep, I'm a slime, here's my human form, because it's easier to talk to me like that, and the Dwarf King is like, yeah, cool, whatever. I'm here to see what your intentions are. And he's like, I'm going to attack you with my sword and figure out what truly lies in your heart, which is a fucking weird way to decide what lies in somebody's heart, but fine, okay. And so Rimuru's like, what? But, okay, fine, if you want, because I'm the leader of this alliance. And he's like, ho, you fucker, how dare you be so boastful? You're just shit-talking. There's no way a slime's in charge, right? He doesn't say quite all that, but it's intended. Until Trainee shows him, he's like, never mind. Obviously, if the Dryad is, on your side, you're totally, legit in that you're leading, but we still got to fight. Just block. If you block all my attacks, you win. And so they're getting in, there's a little sword play. It's not a whole lot, but Rimuru recognizes the technique that the Dwarven King uses and does block the attacks. Trainee calls the battle off, proclaiming Rimuru the winner, of course, And the Dwarf King has no problem with that. His name's like Drogon or something like that. It's a weird name. I can't quite recall it, but yeah. Also, while all this is happening, we find out what happens to Gabil. He's like, alright, my father's probably going to execute me, and that's fine, I deserve it, I'm a fuck up, you know, whatever. Of course, we see his father now, and he has evolved because, also, off-screen, Rimuru gave him the name of Abil, which you read in the manga, don't find out in the anime, so that's why I'm letting you know. And Abil's like, yeah, you fucked up. You're exiled. You're no longer a lizard man among us. Get the fuck out. And he sends Gabil off on his way, but he also gives him his spear, which is his trident, which is pretty cool. And of course, Gabil's men go along with him willingly, like, if you're exiled, we're exiled. We're your dudes. And he's like, fine, follow me. Like, you know, I give you 3 guesses as to where they're going, and the first 2 don't count. So, that's right, you get 1 guess, because where else would they be going in this anime? So we cut back, sort of, like, it all happens in a sequence of orders. But they're having a party with the Dwarven King, you know, like, yay, you know, we're all cool. And the Dwarven King basically lays out, like, hey, you know, I know the intentions of your heart. You're not evil. You've been trained by my old swordmaster, which is like a little scene in the middle there. And so, yeah, you're cool. Why don't you form an alliance with me, treaty with me, because your nation's going to get big. It's going to get super big. And, you know, you've got good wares like your fucking super potions. So, why don't you form a treaty with me? I'll give you stuff, you give me stuff, it works out beneficially for both of us, and you, as a nation, get recognized by us, the dwarves, and we're, like, you know, a good nation to be recognized by. It gives you, like, more noticeability with all the other nations. And Rimuru was like, well, in the manga, he's like, well, I didn't expect this to happen so fast, this was totally within my plans, but he's like, yeah, you know, I'm totally excited, so what's the name of your kingdom? And Rimuru's kind of on the spot. He's like, the Jura Tempest Alliance? And everybody on his team, all the Kijin, Rigord, the Hobgoblin, they're like, this is a great name! And this is our capital. It's named Rimuru because there's no better name. It's perfect. Like, it's really embarrassing. But he shakes hands with the Dwarven King, and sign, deal, done, cool. We get a sort of scene with Cayman, the Demon Lord, and one of the clown troupe guys. I forget what they're actually called. And the next episode is called Demon Lord Milam Attacks. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything because you've kind of already seen her in the first opening for the show, so don't be surprised when she shows up, and just, you'll see. She's a character. She is certainly a character. And that's the episode. So, like I said, I really enjoy just how Rimuru is not the typical protagonist who needs to gain power and be above everybody. He just wants to, like, make a better world. And he wants to just have a nice life. So, I'm all about it. And we got a new opening and a new ending, and they're both awesome. The ending actually contains characters that shouldn't show up for a long while in the anime. I don't even know if they're going to show up this season. Like, so that's kind of interesting that they're doing that. Maybe it got more episodes. Maybe it's just going to keep continuing. I don't know. We'll see. And that's the episode. So what's coming up next? Also, they're definitely like banger songs. But anyway, coming up next, we're going to talk about that new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. In fact, don't be surprised if that gets uploaded today with this. But yeah, that is totally the plan. And after that, next video should be the previews, unless I think of something else. And eventually we're going to get to that Doctor Who special. I know that I'm late on it. And I don't have a TARDIS to make that any better. So, but until next time, I'm Fire Princess Lily. Enjoy comics, enjoy cartoons, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!